people say, no, I'd like to do this, but I don't have the money. That's not the right attitude to have. Because you'll never have money when you start.
Exactly.
Unless you're a privileged guy and you've inherited money or your father's very rich.
Yeah.
I didn't have that pleasure. So you making excuses is not the right way.
Exactly.
You go for it and you just chisel down, because everyone thinks big, right? So you think initially a business means I must have a premise and I must have cars and I must have branding and I must have shirts that says my name of my company and this big website. It's not that. Start off small. If you make R1 profit a month, it's much more than most businesses make in the first year.
Unfiltered AF, real ones rise, no mask, no flex. Lights on, mic check is next. This is the truth, Unfiltered AF.
Welcome to another inspiring episode of Unfiltered AF, and today we've got George Simitopoulos as our guest, a serial entrepreneur, a change maker, a bond breaker, if we can put it that way, with unique products, with being innovative in the refinance industry a couple of years ago in South Africa. And I'm sure you've heard of the company Carfin before, and George is a founding member of Carfin, but Carfin is not his only business. George is a serial entrepreneur with multiple businesses. George, welcome to Unfiltered AF today. It's really, truly an honor having you here with us today.
Thank you, Alkin.
So George, you've been doing business since you were a little boy.
8 years old.
8 years old. You had your first transaction.
Yeah.
Please share that with us a little bit. What was that?
I didn't realize it till you got older and then you look back at your life.
Yeah.
I realized that the guys were playing marbles.
Yeah.
And then you'd have 50 marbles and you'd lose 20 because you weren't good at marbles. Then I realized some guys wanted those kind of marbles and other guys wanted other marbles. So I just started trading out marbles without playing marbles. I ended up being the kid with the most marbles in the school, never playing a game.
Okay.
So then I realized I had something for trading, So that was the start. That was the first of many businesses. So in primary school, I think I had about 4 different businesses.
Primary school.
Primary school already. Yeah.
Already had 4 businesses.
Yeah.
And what were these
It's
businesses?
sherbet. I would make sherbet, have sherbet and then I'd distribute. I had like a multi-network already. So you would get 5 sherbets and you'd have to pay me for 4.
Yeah.
And then you'd sell them on and the 5th one would be your own.
Okay.
So then I would sell about 300 packets of sherbet a day.
A day.
A day, yeah.
How old were you?
Must have been about 10 years old.
10 years old, and you sold 300 packets of sherbet
a day. Yeah. So it wasn't a lot of money those days because it was like 50 cents, I think, or 30 cents a packet or something ridiculous.
But if you add that up.
Well, from those days, yeah. So that's how I started. And
So you're the richest kid in the block.
I was, but not that I was spending the money on myself. It was just the fun of doing the business.
Okay.
My business, I've never opened a business with the aim to say, must make me X amount to give me X amount of lifestyle. Always to try and just make it successful.
Okay.
Like someone planting a garden,
Yeah.
You want it to flourish and look lacquer.
Okay.
The money will come automatically.
Yes.
So I never really chased the money so much.
So,
Success.
so you chased a passion for business.
Yeah, it's intrinsically, I think entrepreneurs are born. Very difficult to make someone an entrepreneur. There's certain facets or attributes you need to have as a combination to become an entrepreneur. So you're born with some of them. And some skills you have to learn through a school of hard knocks, which I have had and still pay. I think it was always to try and just make something successful. Get an idea and then make it work, Just a challenge to see if you can make it work.
Yes.
That's the driving factor, and I still haven't stopped.
So after your sherbet empire, selling 300 packets a day, what did you move on to next? This was primary school, so obviously there were a whole bunch of other ventures after that.
Yeah, there were multiple ventures in high school also, and then in the army, I must have had about 4 or 5 different businesses in the army, because I realized there was in the army you get rich people and you get the not so rich, and you try and find out what the rich want, and the not so rich, how do you empower them? So I would get the rich kids that didn't want to stand guard or do their own washing. I'd get the not so rich ones to do that, and I just brokered the deal in between. So I had a dry cleaning business. I had a guard standing business that you instead of you going to stand guard all night, you could sell your spot, or you could pay for someone to go stand in your place, and that's one of the things I did. And then then smuggling in. I had because I was a sportsman those days. I had access to get out of the base.
Yeah.
So then I would find the richer kids that wanted KFC, not army food, would buy. I would broker, and so I would sell about 20 burgers, because there was a guy who would pick us up with a combi, take us to the sporting place where we would play rugby or whatever, and then on the way back stop over the takeaway place and smuggle the KFC in, and then instead of having army food, the guys could have KFC at night, but they would pay double the price, obviously.
Wow.
And I used to pay the guy that drove the minibus.
So you actually started Mr. D.
In a way, yeah.
Yeah, if you look at it that way.
Yeah, with Mr. G. Yeah.
Mr. G, exactly. Oh, so awesome. And then after Army, George, what? So obviously you've got a passion for business. You've got a head for business. You always see an opportunity by the sounds of it. So what was your first fully commercial business that you started?
On my own, where I was a shareholder in a formalized business, was probably at the age of 21, I opened my first restaurant myself.
Okay, awesome.
Coming from a family of restaurateurs, I borrowed money from my grandfather, 300 grand. Went into partnership with guys. Opened my first restaurant at the age of 21. And ultimately, over about a period of 6-7 years, I built it up to 13 restaurants.
Sure. So then you were 27, 28.
Yeah, about 27, 28, and I kind of lost my interest later on in that business. It's a very hard industry, but it gave me the start in life. Got money at a very young age, so I could see the world and do what I want. But the challenge wasn't there anymore, because it was like copy and paste, you know.
Like you've done it.
And not all of them were successful. I mean, some of them failed dismally because, you know, I thought you were bulletproof, you could do whatever you wanted, you know. Just whatever you do, yeah, 100%. And you not calculated, you know. Being an entrepreneur, you got to be a bit of a loskop in the sense that you a bit of a gambler, you know. You take a gamble at something.
Exactly.
Sometimes you back the wrong horses and you have to take the brunt of it, you know. It's part of life. Still happens to me today in business, you know. So, but you seem to make lesser mistakes as you go older, because those school fees do hurt. They don't forget them, you know.
Well, it's lessons learned.
Well, yeah, 100%. It's a journey that you go through, you know.
Yes.
And if you don't learn from those lessons, then it's your own fault.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. And how to apply those lessons then moving forward.
100%, yeah.
So as we stand today, 2025, currently it's November 2025 when we're recording this episode. What does your business empire look like today?
I hardly call it an empire, but I've just, in the last 2 weeks, I've started 2 new businesses. One on a very small scale, and one very large scale in terms of the farming industry. So I've acquired my first 100 cattle and started with that with a partner. So that's something interesting that I'm going into, that I always wanted to go into.
Okay.
So effectively, in all my businesses that I own, I've all self-financed them. I haven't borrowed any money from banks to start my businesses.
Sure.
So, and so if anything goes wrong, it's myself that gets put under pressure, and my other businesses that feed that one. So it's like a family, just add more to it. And obviously some of them are successful and some of them are not so successful, but they go through cycles. And then I've obviously find strategic partners in some of the businesses which are technical, which I don't have any knowledge over. I get them in, and I normally fund those guys.
Okay.
And give them my business acumen side of it, and then they give the technical side of it.
Okay.
So in terms of it, we're quite diverse. the cybersecurity industry. We've been in the renewable industry. I was in the finance industry when I owned Carfin. I recently sold that this year after 19 years.
Sure.
We are in the medicinal industry, now in the agri industry, but in the retreat site which we're about to launch. What else is there? There's one or two other ones.
Also in water?
Yes. That's a business we acquired about 2 months ago.
And civils? You're also in civils
In the
from what I
civils
could
business,
gather?
that's right. I mean, in the civils business, we've completed building 8 kilometers of road.
Oh, wow. And how old is this business, George?
That business is 4 months old.
And you've already done 8 kilometers of road
Well, in one project, and then there's another 8 kilometers that we're starting with now.
in 4 months.
Yes, and that civil business is also supporting the solar side, because we used to outsource the civils on that side. We've brought it in-house now. So we're currently working on 3 projects where the civil side is working on the solar for us.
Oh, wow.
So we have excavators. I just recently bought an excavator for that business.
Okay.
And a lot of other civil tools that I never knew of that I had to acquire to do that. So,
Okay.
and that business is already a profitable business.
In 4 months.
In 4 months.
Sure.
It just made sense instead of outsourcing, I'd rather bring it in-house.
Exactly.
And so I try and leverage off the other businesses and try and see where, if it's a business case to have it rather in-house and outsource some stuff.
But also that gives opportunity to others as well.
Yes.
So you're creating opportunities for those who need it, who's got the savvy to do what they have to do.
Yes.
And then you back that.
100%. So within my network, there's already been interest from other people that know that we're now part in the civils business that has that. And then by default, in the water business that we started, it's we do those municipal backups. You know, these big 2,500 or 5,000 liter tanks.
Jojo tanks. and so
Jojo tanks that if you and which is a beautiful business. That business does 3-4 of those tanks per day installs.
New installs a day.
Yes, and a lot of them they have got civils needed because we recently started doing some schools, and those are the bigger tanks.
Okay.
And they need plinths and stuff that you know, like foundations done, and our civil company will do that now. You know, so by default, we never thought of that, but having the civils, it made sense to incorporate that now. So the civils team can go in, and that civils team has already doubled in size.
In 4 months.
Yes, and just because we had done our first job, and I said, well, we need to scale it, and then all these jobs came. Now all of a sudden, I've got to get enough staff and new equipment
Exactly.
to fill up this thing. So it being a supportive business has now become a self-standing business, which was never the initial aim, but now it has become the initial thing. So that's where we're at. You know, it's an exciting time. So
Yeah. That's why I'm stuck at 4 months. I think I've said it now for the 6th time. You build a full civils business in 4 months. That's self-sufficient.
yes.
So that goes to show that you don't need it. You can't make excuses. Well, let's rephrase that. If you really want to do something, it's possible.
100%. I've never had anyone give me money to do anything. Create it yourself. People say, "No, I'd like to do this, but I don't have the money." That's not the right attitude to have, because you'll never have money when you start.
Exactly.
You know, unless you're a privileged guy and you've inherited money, or your father's very rich.
Yeah.
I didn't have that pleasure. So you making excuses is not the right way.
Exactly.
You go for it and you just chisel down, because everyone thinks big, right? So you think initially a business means I must have a premise, and I must have cars, and I must have branding, and I must have shirts that says my name of my company and this big website. It's not that. Start off small. If you make R1 profit a month, it's much more than most businesses make in the first year.
Exactly.
You understand? So rather aim to make that R1 opposed to losing 100 grand.
Yeah, or never starting.
Or never starting, But also in saying that not everyone are entrepreneurs.
True.
And this fable of saying that, you know, ex-entrepreneur, look how rich he is. drives this fancy car and he lives in this lacquer house. Small percentage of entrepreneurs that have that. Because the ones that failed never tell you that story. You see the iceberg on the top, but you don't see what's under the water.
That analogy.
So that there's an amount of grit that needs to have sleepless nights. Many hours in my life I've had sleepless nights. Not because of necessarily the stress of business. Is when you become an entrepreneur, you have responsibility for other people. Other people that work for you are dependent on their salaries. And sometimes when you can't pay those salaries, you take it upon yourself. And that's sometimes what gives me sleepless nights. So the business is a fluid thing, not always on the high. You run it like the waves in the sea.
Yeah.
You know? One day the waves can be high, and next day there's no waves.
Yeah.
So that's the grit that you have to talk about. So, like I say, not everyone thinks entrepreneurs mean that you're going to make money equals money. Not necessarily the truth.
There's so much more behind that and so much more to that at the end of the day.
Yeah.
But I think looking at your story and some of the stories we've had today already is that you also need to diversify your portfolio.
Yeah.
So that there is a fallback or there's alternative options for when the markets move this way, you are ready for that shift happening.
Yeah. That's, I think, been my saving grace. By God's grace, He's made me diversify my businesses. And when one of them is taking strain, another one will carry him.
Exactly.
That honestly has helped us, and COVID was the test, the stress test. Some certain of my businesses could flourish in COVID, and some couldn't. So one-dimensional businesses, if you were on the not supporting the COVID system and making money, and you were on the opposite side reliant on not being able to operate, would be the downfall of those businesses. So I was lucky on both, having at that time maybe 5 or 6 businesses that 3 of them could operate well in that stress environment. The others could not. So so I think diversity is big, but when do you start diversifying? It's also a risk. My diversity came also by default, because I have this natural curiosity of doing business. When I see a gap in the market, I want to do it.
Yes.
The lovely part of that is that I have there's no hindrance for me to do that. If I can self-finance it within my own businesses, then I'll put the money down and start the business. Start it instantly. No board that has to decide. I just do my calculations and put my head down and say, okay, let's go for it.
Yes.
And out of all most of my life, I've had 3 businesses that have failed, where I've actually I've lost money.
Okay.
The others are either the ones that were, let's call them ones that were struggling or weren't, I kind of lost interest in. I would offload, sell them, or whatever the case, break even at the very worst. Or in some cases make a little bit of money. Okay. So I never just wanted one business that just hits the lights out. It also, I think, stimulates my ADD or whatever I might have. I think I do have. So that helps.
Yeah, it's just your curiosity and also your passion to build business and to see that thrive.
Yeah, to see something that you started succeed. And when I say succeed, it doesn't always succeed. It succeeds and then it goes down like the waves, and then it comes up again. And when you get tested in that adversity, how do you handle it? How do you handle it as a person? How does your business handle it?
Yes. Yes. What measures do you have in place to handle it?
There's your internal grit, obviously. Sometimes I think I'm just too stupid to just quit. But quitting was never an option. I think people might give up too quickly when they get the first pushback. Some young entrepreneurs, and I think over the years my religion has certainly supported my way of doing business. So my faith is quite strong in just letting things happen and at its own time, and then you have disappointments. It's part of life,
Yes.
and you go through them.
Yeah.
Molds you and teaches you. So you never lose. I have an attitude of not losing but learning. So every disappointment is a learning curve. And that's what I think ends up then kind of molding you into a better businessman, trying to be better than before.
Okay.
In terms of skills and attitude and so forth.
Yes. So our viewers are entrepreneurs, business owners, those who want to aspire in becoming business owners or entrepreneurs. What word of advice can you give to two different individuals here? The individual that's got an idea, that's got the passion to start something, but scared to start something, or everybody says, do not start this because you won't be successful. So that's the first one. The second one is somebody who's currently in business, but they're finding themselves at the crossroad of needing to make difficult decisions or giving up. So what advice can you give to these two individuals?
Well, so let's take the one that wants to start a business. Never ask for advice for someone that doesn't own their own business.
Valid.
Right, so
Valid.
you listen to your dad. Your dad's worked for Toyota his whole life.
Yeah.
He's worked for the bank his whole life. Now you want to ask him about doing a business. It's not wired that way. So he's not going to give, he's going to be risk adverse maybe. So you always ask advice for someone that is in business, successful or just average. You know, success is measured by human factors. You know, just being able to own a car is success for some people.
Yes,
And for other people, it's R1 million a month, you know.
Yeah.
So the first thing for a starter is to first don't take advice from people that are not in business. The second advice is if you're going to look at a certain industry, go speak to people in that industry. You'll be surprised how many people will give you free advice.
Exactly.
Whether good or bad, you need to distinguish that.
Discern.
Yeah, so some people will say, and some people will not want to help you because they've got this small town mentality. You know, it's going to open right next to me. Very few people. But if you humble yourself and you go speak to people in the industry that you want to open in, and go listen to them. Go listen to them and learn. And the third thing is get a mentor in business. Listen to or get mentors. They're not just one. Yeah. People that have gone into business have got, so you not necessarily have to pay the school fees that they've paid. Why do you have to? Why must you bump your end a couple of times? You know, you can. And then most probably the last one is everything will happen in time. If you've, I think, got not a partner in your business, then don't expect it necessarily to be successful. Not to say that when you walk the road of faith that you will be successful, because you might be going through a learning curve when the waves are not high.
Yeah.
You know, there's many people I know that have had very few successes, but today are much more successful than I am and many of my other mates. That when we were younger, those guys used to look up at us. You know?
Yeah.
Today, those have learned from their lessons, and some of them are billionaires.
Sure.
Guys that I know, guys that I grew up with, used to draw together. You know, sometimes I just take my hat off to those guys and say, yes, I know where you've come from and where you are at. So that is for the starter, right? The guy at the crossroad, once again, don't have faith in your in the Lord in terms of making something successful. Or what is success? Is success money or success? Would you rather be successful and not have a happy family? Or would you rather have a happy family and not have money, but you have enough to chow? You know, so I think that's ultimately where I am at in my life. You know, I complain, and business can always get better, and there are some disappointments, but those disappointments are part of life. You know, it's part of the curve. Each one of our roads are destined by the grace of God and not ourselves. We're just there custodians of the money. You know. I don't negotiate with God, because I can only negotiate with someone's money that is his money. That's not mine. I'm just a custodian.
Yeah.
So I think the path and the road to so-called success is the way you get there. It's more important than what you get when you get there.
Awesome.
So I think the money is a byproduct of that. So the guy that's battling in business, also go speak to speak to other mentors, guys that might have been in that same position. Because when you're in a position of stress, you get blinker vision.
Yeah.
You worried up. You worry just about what is in front of you and what is the problem there. And if you could have just sometimes take yourself out of the situation, lift yourself above the situation, and holistically look at it as if you're not part of it. Then by asking some other people, they might just give you another angle. That angle could be the saving grace of your business.
Exactly.
Or just yourself, your mindset.
Just to get a fresh perspective on things as well.
Fresh perspective, just some encouragement.
Yeah.
Because we all think when the world is hard, it's just us that are battling. Got to get off your high horse and know you're not the only one battling.
Yeah.
You're
not alone.
You're not the special one. You're not special not to go through this. There's other people who battle with the same kind of worse situations. So sometimes to look and be grateful for what you do have, even if it's little, that kind of helped me through those difficult times. So I think the guy that wants to give up, first go through speaking to other guys and try your best to try and save something. But sometimes things aren't worth saving because you've put in hours and you believe now this thing owes you your life back. Sometimes you've just got it wrong from the beginning. Those lessons of loss is lessons of life. So you don't necessarily have lost, but it's maybe the end of a chapter to start a new chapter.
Or it's holding you back to move forward.
To see other opportunities.
Yes, exactly.
Business is opportunity seeking, eh?
Yes.
Seeing an opportunity. A lot of people think they make money when they sell something. You make money when you buy something. You buy at the right price. You're going to make money. So we end up looking at the end goal opposed to the beginning of it. So I think, and when you're in that stressful situation, you don't get to see those opportunities.
Exactly.
So don't be scared of failure. You try and impress people that don't really care.
Exactly.
They're going to talk about you anyway. So people are jealous, and sadly, of life. That's the case. People will not wish you well, and most probably your closest friends are the first ones who do that. So I say also surround yourself with people who are sincere and really care, and keep your circle tight, and let people show their true colors to you, and then you know who to align with.
Yes.
Because when the champagne's flowing, you won't have enough glasses to dish out. Everyone's drinking with you.
Exactly.
When it starts raining, you battle to find an umbrella from one of those friends.
Exactly.
So that's a lesson I've learned. And ultimately, family is important. And I think in business, what I find with a lot of very wealthy, of my super wealthy friends, is that you need to have a balance of business, doing business, having a family that's happy and healthy, time spent, rest and retreat, religion. If you look at a wheel and you've got aspects of it, the more balanced it is, I think the more successful you really are. When you are ultra focused and a workaholic, like Elon Musk, Steve Jobs, their wheels were so unbalanced. They had very poor families, multiple marriages, multiple children. So when you have to, in one of those divisions, get too much attention, something else has to give. And be careful when you're starting your business not to concentrate so much on your business to think that you're trying to make a success for the grace of your family, but then you're losing valuable time with your family.
Exactly.
So for me, success is the healthy wheel. And I can tell you, in the beginning of my life, I never had that attitude. I had this attitude of wanting to work hard, and the business needs me 16 hours a day, but your children also need you. So it's a lesson that's learned through wisdom over the years. But if I can, last weekend I met a young, successful young guy. He's 29 years old, also a serial entrepreneur. Just the way he spoke, I saw a little bit of myself in a younger version. He was there with his wife. She's about to give birth to his second kid.
Okay.
My advice to him was, because he asked me, how do you find business? How did you? And I said to him, one thing you need to do is just keep that. Don't sell your time cheaply to your business. You spend it with your family also. And I think that kind of hit him hard. He says, but he's trying to create this business for his family. At what price?
At what cost as well?
Well, at what cost? The cost is exactly that. It's, money doesn't buy happiness. Doesn't get you to kick a ball with your kid.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. George, we're unfortunately running out of time today, and I would love to spend another hour, 2-3 hours talking to you, just hearing your wisdom and your passion for business, but also your passion for other people.
Yeah.
So thank you so much for sharing that today with us, with our audience as well. And I truly hope that our viewers will find, and I truly believe they will find inspiration from this, that if there is someone out there that feels like they want to give up, or they want to start something new, but they're listening to their family who's never owned a business before, like you rightly said, that they'll take some of this and say, but okay, I'm not going to be scared of living my passion and dreams. If it's obviously based on a solid foundation and it makes sense, then why not start it?
100%.
Yeah. So to all our viewers, is there some way that people can reach out to you, George, in terms of your multiple businesses, if they want to inquire about some of the products or services you just mentioned today?
So if they, I think if one of the businesses is a solar care business, so they want to mail me, George at solarcare.co.za,
Awesome.
reach out. I'm not always available all the time, but where I can, I'll try and assist people. I think this country needs more entrepreneurs. The country is based on entrepreneurs.
Yes.
Because an entrepreneur sets a tone for its workers. We are leaders in business, and if you have a healthy culture in your business, a God-fearing business, you actually can touch more people in a positive way. There's actually some interesting stats that business leaders can touch like almost 10x more than what churches and pastors and Germany's can touch.
Sure.
If you take the amount of people that are church-going people, opposite to people that are working, you as a leader, as an example, can reach many more potential people and bring them into the kingdom than what those traditional institutions would be. So
It just shows you the responsibility business leaders also have.
100%, and it will, for the better and for the worst.
Yes.
You can get guys that just don't give two hoots to people's lives and that. So
Exactly. So George, thank you so much.
Pleasure.
So to all our viewers, there you hear it. From selling 300 packets of sherbet a day to running multiple profitable businesses in 2025. And we are excited to see what's going to happen in the future, in 2026 and beyond. So I hope you found today inspirational. If you want to reach out to George, SolarCare, that's the renewable energy business, George at solarcare.co.za. If you want to talk business with George as well, or if you want to inquire about their services and what they're offering, so reach out to them. And thank you for being on another inspiring episode of Unfiltered AF, Unfiltered Authentic Founders like George Simitopoulos and all our other inspirational guests. Please remember to like, share, subscribe our channels, Unfiltered by Meta Creative Lab on YouTube, and our various other channels, to make sure that some of your friends and other business owners and those who want to aspire in becoming business owners can view inspirational stories like this very one we just watched today. See you next time. Have a good one. Cheers.
Unfiltered AF, real ones rise, no mask, no flex. Lights on, mic check is next. This is the truth, Unfiltered AF.